So here is the poll that is currently live on my community tab about the new Kindles, and there's 4 Kindles that have been launched just now, and this is what you guys have thought. Most of you are thinking, yeah, an underwhelming update, but a sensible feature set for them to add to their device. That one makes sense to me as well, I think. Okay, it doesn't mean you need to update what you've got, but of course, if there are better and newer screens, then whatever their new version should always have the latest screens. And that's what they've done in the normal Kindle and the Paperwhite. Essentially, that is just bringing them up to date with latest Carta 1300. So that's better contrast, that's better response time, so the page turns will be quicker, and better interaction with the elements with your touch. And also there's a new color in the normal Kindle as well. Some of you wanted to day one purchase, so just buy it. I did immediately buy the color soft, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Some people just saying, yeah, I'm skipping this generation because I've already had this one. People saying, yeah, actually, I'm not impatient for this, I'll wait for the reviews, but maybe I'll be upgrading for this. And some people are just insulted by it, and actually they're going to switch to Kobo or something that they've commented down there as well. So in the description you'll see a link to the page where it shows you all of the 4 new tablets. Will they improve the file management system, was some people were asking? Yeah, maybe if you can actually organize your notes and things better on it, that would be a useful thing. Boox Go Color 7 has become my daily driver, somebody said. Got the Go Color 7 just to show it off, because that Go Color 7, that's got the same e-ink screen, color e-ink screen that the Color Soft will have. So I just wanted to sort of show that as a example of that screen. I have a couple of other examples of Kaleido color e-ink screens to show you as well, if you're wondering what the quality of that Kindle Color Soft will be. That's the Color Soft. I think that's going to be one of the main uses, is going to be looking at comics, which is a good time, by the way, reading comics on color e-ink at the minute with Kindle, using the guided view. I've really enjoyed that. Some people saying, I've waited for the Kindle Oasis for too long, and now I've already switched to the Kobo, where I've had color for a little while. People are tempted, but even though the upgrade is not so big, but it's the type of thing maybe they will order. I think, have a little think as well. It's that, is there anyone in your family that is ready for a new e-reader? It might be worth a shout for them as well. People considering the new Scribe, although I think that the difference between it and the current Scribe is just the look, really. And yeah, the pen, just the look and the feel of the pen, maybe. People talking about Amazon's trade-in deals not quite good enough to make it worth doing. Maybe sell what you've got secondhand, and you'll get a better deal, is what they're saying. People are actually excited over the new features, and the new features are coming to original Scribe owners. So they've launched with a few extra software features for the Scribe as well, and we'll talk about those in a moment as well. It's just different colors really though, and there's a few other little software features as well, but those software updates are going to come to current Scribe things as well. People who have bought a 10.3 and asking, a Go 10.3, asking, did they make the right choice? My response has been almost certainly yes, because one of the biggest pulls for the Scribe has been its price. And well, now these newer ones, there'll be a refreshed color, refreshed look to them, but they won't be much different, and they will be probably up to full price straight away. The other thing that's changed is the pen, and the pen has got this kind of metallic feel now as well. That's welcome, but it isn't a major change. They've got rid of the basic pen, and that's not going to be an option anymore. And also they've talked about the eraser is a bit more rubberized, which is not important to me, really. These stickies have changed. It's now like a sticky canvas like this. So you can add in a little like floating space for your notes. So you can write on all the books by adding a little floating space for your notes that will allow the text to reflow around that, essentially. And then also the other way to make notes is not in any of the pictures there, but you can swipe from one side, and then you'll have a little bit of space at the side in the margin to basically do some writing. Talking about the color, people saying that the color ink still has too many trade-offs. I don't disagree. And people are surprised that they went with the Kaleido rather than the Gallery 3 screen. It probably was the safer bet, in fact, to use the Kaleido screen. And it has been really popular. It's been popular on the Kobos, it's been popular on the Boox devices. And yeah, it's been popular for a reason, because it is really quite usable. And I'm going to go ahead, we'll put this into faster mode. This is this same screen which is in the Kindle Colorsoft. And for me, it's like, how have they actually managed that screen? And look at it in fast mode, isn't it zippy? Gallery can't behave like that, but it does need a lot of front light to make it look anywhere near natural color. Now I think the success of this Kindle Colorsoft will be in how they've managed that e-ink screen. I think, look, moving through panels of a graphic novel or comic on the Kindle is going to be a really good time. They won't have buttons. We've talked about buttons, but I think that that's the right size to have a really good experience of reading on these color e-ink panels. So we will see. And people are just happy with what they've already got. And people talking, as we will in a moment, about the comparison to the Kobos and how much each costs. So let's talk firstly a little bit more about the Scribe, and then we'll go through the devices sort of one at a time really. They've mentioned some AI features on the Kindle Scribe. I find those to be a little bit ridiculous. There's an AI handwriting refinement feature, which is actually just OCR text recognition with then handwriting looking font. So that's a bit ridiculous. I mean, who would possibly want that? I would have been actually quite interested in that if they'd had like something that could tidy up my handwriting, like so AI analyze my handwriting and then give me a neat version of my own handwriting. That would be actually useful, but no, that's not what they're doing. So that's not a big feature to go out and buy it for. I do think they've added some type of AI kind of understanding of what you're reading, so you can ask it kind of questions, about the things that you're reading. So there we are. They've put in AI features as well, because everybody needs that at this point as well. The new colors on the Scribe, of course, they're not game changing. And I did wonder if it would be an update to Carta 1300, but it isn't. The Kindle Scribe is going to stay on the Carta 1200, and I know that only, they don't show you that. I know that only because it's still a 10.2 screen, which is the size of the Carta 1200, not the 1300, which is a 10.65. Maybe I'll be corrected at some point in my life. It's happened before, but that's what I think is going there. So there's really, if you recently bought a Kindle, I don't think there's a need to upgrade across any of these. The new Paperwhites and the new basic Kindle, again, just really a change to the look, but the Kindle Paperwhite and the new Kindle have the Carta 1300 screen. So that is better. But again, I don't think going from the Carta 1200 in the previous one, which was lovely still, is that much of an improvement. It's not necessary to rush by it because of a 25% faster response time and a better contrast, really. So I don't think that, it's just they're going to update because it's a newer screen, rather than it being sort of night and day difference, really. I think the Colorsoft, though, is the one that is the interesting one, and I don't disagree. I think a Color Scribe would have been a better choice than the Colorsoft. Everyone was really expecting that, I think, but I think maybe they are just dipping their toe in the water of color at this point here as well. And a lot of people were kind of expecting the first Kindle to be advanced color ePaper, that's Gallery 3, and it isn't. It is the Kaleido 3. It's a good choice because it's quick, but it's a poor choice because the colors aren't so vibrant as they are on the Gallery. So we will see. I think they've gone for the safer option there. But I do think on a normal reader, the Gallery 3 would probably work quite well. Bit strange that they've gone for that, but that's what they've gone for. It's probably a bit less expensive for them, and it probably didn't require such a lot of learning. I'm imagining the R&D department tried both, and they thought that it'd be a bit hard to actually get the Gallery 3 to perform as well as they could immediately get the Kaleido 3 to work. So maybe we'll see a Gallery 3 in a larger one or a different size one in the future. We will see. Good skepticism there. Now, the other thing about those is, well, of course, the Kobo has color e-ink Kaleido 3, two sizes, both of which are cheaper than the Kindle. So the Kobo devices, they have one that's the same size as this. This is the same size screen that'll be in the Colorsoft. This is the screen that'll be in the Colorsoft, basically. And I hope they've managed the ghosting better than Boox have in the other apps. The native app doesn't have those ghosting problems at all. The reader looks great, but then you don't get the guided view that I've just shown you in comics. The reader does manage to refresh and get rid of all the color ghosting when it does its full refreshing in their native app, and it looks absolutely fabulous. But yeah, I did mean to show that as well alongside the real comic, to show you that the Kaleido-free colours are significantly more washed out than real paper, or indeed the Gallery 3. And I've got that comparison several times, so I'm not going to do it in depth today, just to really quickly show you that difference in colour. So yeah, I think there's a, people might have expected it to be the Gallery, and that might have been better for them, really. It's not going to be a basic Kindle though, so it is going to be more expensive than the two Kobo options, but it's not just the Color Soft is going to be, not just Color Soft, it's going to be Color Soft Signature Edition. That's what they're going to call it, right? So at the bottom, they've got a little comparison table. If you go to here, it's going to be the Kindle Color Soft Signature Edition, meaning it's got wireless charging, which I don't understand the need for wireless charging when you have to charge a Kindle once every month. And the battery life is incredible on Kindle, of course, but it's there, and it will have waterproofing as well. There's good reasons there, but it's quite a lot more expensive than what you can get in the Kobo. So the Kobo have a 6-inch, the Kobo Clara color is also waterproof, both the Kobos. £140 for the Kobo Clara 6-inch color, so a little bit smaller screen, but the same technology. And the Kobo Libra has just £200, so £80 less than this new Kindle, and that has a terrible stylus, but it has a stylus nonetheless, and it also has buttons. So it has buttons in a similar way that this Boox tablet has buttons as well. So having buttons and touch would be the gold standard, of course. Yes, but maybe they have added salt, and I'm interested because I kind of get the impression that perhaps these devices were delivered with the previous controller, and maybe there's something they can do with this stack of layers on top of the e-ink. They've made a big deal about their LEDs they're using and the way that they're firing those LEDs across the screen to maybe make it brighter, maybe make it look a little bit better. But if we're having to fire really bright colored LEDs across the screen, is that the best thing for us for enjoying our eye comfort, which is why we all love e-ink, one of the big reasons we all love e-ink for. So there we go. I don't think there's a strong reason to switch to Kobo if you're in the Kindle ecosystem, but I think you might want to look at switching to Boox, because this device is the same price. The Go Color 7 is £280 as well. So it has that same screen, and you have all of those options. You can still just use it like a Kindle, but you can do all of the Google Play Store things, all of the Amazon tablet things on there as well. You can turn this into a little typewriter that you can take with you if you like, with an external keyboard. There's loads of things there that are going for it as well. So it'd be very interesting to see what Kindle have actually done with that screen, and maybe there's life in Kaleido yet. We'll see. They need to get both refresh rate and ghosting right. I think the Gallery was a bit too risky for them at the moment. I think that they're sensible updates, but not overwhelming. And a lot of you are thinking, just wait for the reviews before upgrading. And I will be reviewing the Colour Kindle. It could be a good purchase for special occasions. If you know someone who loves to read on their Kindle, and you think they benefit from a bit of colour in their life, it might be a good option. What does it mean by it has special LEDs? It is the front light, but they've talked about the direction they're firing them and the blend of colours that they're using. We will see. Might just be marketing mumbo jumbo there. Yeah, interesting one. So you certainly couldn't read a comic if it was just that size. What you could do is on the Kindle you get that guided view, which means you can read it really well. Yeah, they are generally enhancing the Scribe, so that's good as well. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they got rid of the Oasis design. That seemed to be quite popular with people. Yeah, interesting one. Opposite to other brands, what do you think they're trying to achieve? I think they always try to have a good price point. Why they've gone so expensive with this one is to not cannibalize the rest of their lineup, which is an odd choice. For the Kobo, it's like, oh, why wouldn't I just get the color? It's only like a few pounds extra, £20 extra to get the basic Kobo in color. So like, why wouldn't you just add that extra £20? Whereas they've gone for, no, color's a premium option. Buy that if you want that. But people loved the Microsoft Surface Duo as well, didn't they? Yeah, interesting to see what develops in that. Thanks for that, Neil. That's an interesting discussion. I bought a Color Soft. I bought it day one, purchased it. I will review it, but it's going to become my daughter's device eventually, and she loves reading on her Kindle, and it's been incredibly useful to her for her vocabulary building. So what she can do on the Kindle is she can hold down on a word, and it will give her a definition, a dictionary definition. She was really hooked on reading before she could actually read, and it's largely because of the Kindle. The reason is that I brought it with a pair of headphones for her, and so she was really enjoying and loving reading full-length books as audiobooks even before she could read. And now she flies through series of books. She loves reading. She's a real avid reader, especially for her age. And I'm sure she'll love the colour Kindle. I'm absolutely certain of it. She doesn't read comic books yet, but I bet I can introduce her to a few, and I think she'll love that. So I think that for casual graphic novel enthusiasts, carrying that in your pocket, I think it would actually be a really quite a good device. And the Paperwhite signature edition that I do have as well is a really nicely made device. There's nothing wrong with it at all. This is not really pocketable, but the Paperwhite kind of is, because you just miss off this whole side there. But I think for doing that kind of, especially if you're reading panel by panel, I think not having buttons and having to swipe the screen all the time would be a bit of a pain. I think actually I kind of wish they'd had some ergonomic buttons. I wanted to just showcase just a couple of other options in the colour screen. And I do think this ink pad is one of the very best iterations and uses of the Kaleido screen. This is a 7.8 Kaleido free screen. So it's the same basic technology. And incidentally, this had sat there doing nothing. This had sat on my desk, hardly being used for a good long time. And it just turned on almost instantly. And one of the best things about Kindle is that they do that as well. They sit there on standby, basically consuming no power, and turn on, they still got lots of battery life. So this is really quite good. I think maybe, unfortunately though, one thing I've noticed about it, we might have just done that. I think I've just broken the plastic around the USB-C charging point. So there we go, that's one thing about it. However, just to show you how good the Kaleido Free can look, this I just think looks a bit better than the Boox does. And there isn't as much control here, but these guys have made just one type of front light, one colour front light that you can use. It's upside down. Oh no, it is bicolour, my apologies. But it is a smart light, and it generally always looks really very good on here. I don't know why it's upside down. It's just flipped itself. There we go. The auto rotate. But this is generally much clearer and crisper than any other Kaleido free device that I've used, but maybe the Tab Mini C. So I don't know if there's something about this size, but maybe Kaleido Free, actually they've learned a bit more about it, and the latest Kaleido Free panels are going to be better. But this also has buttons, which are a very convenient way, of course, to relax and turn the page on a book. So shame that thing is just broken. They were talking about the LEDs firing at different angles and blending different colors to make the ideal color light for this. But if you need to always use a front light, then it's really not quite e-ink, is it? I think the color, for it to be special, it'll have to outperform these brands. It'll have to look better than the Pocketbook. It'll have to look better than the Boox. It'll have to look better than the Bigme, who also have a very good 7-inch e-reader in color as well. So we will see. It's outpriced them, so it better outperform them as well. And it might not need the very best processor, because it probably won't have a great processor. But since it's Kindle and they're only really dealing with static images, it probably should be all right. Yeah, I too am waiting for that enlightenment. I would love to see that coming along soon. That was a great device, still is. Shame that it's not sold currently. The one for reading an academic book, I think you want a larger size. So go for a 13.3 perhaps. The Tab X is excellent, but maybe as well that 11.8-inch size, which you can currently only get in the Remarkable, is pretty good. And actually the Remarkable is a reader of PDFs. It's not bad at all actually for reading and annotating PDFs is okay. I've thought about using that, but no, I'm not at the point where I need to turn pages with my foot. But musicians certainly, I know a musician who uses a Boox now, who uses a foot page turner to turn her music. So that does work. And I've seen there are rings you can get, which will turn the page for you now. So if you really need to have it set up somewhere and you want to turn the page, maybe you're doing something else with your hands, then that could be quite neat. Is a Go Free 10.3 color coming? I hope so, but then I don't understand how they work that with the front light. I think they just put the front light in, but then what's the difference in a Go 10.3 and a new and the Note lineup? I don't know. If a Go 10.3 had a front light and was a bit thicker, then it would just be a Note device, wouldn't it? So, and this one, it has already launched in China, so I'm wondering if Is the note lineup dead and buried is my question I've been talking about recently. Thank you all for being here.